There are probably lots of ways that you want to get more productive, but today I want to talk to you about calendar blocking. Sometimes this is called time blocking or blocking your schedule. It's all pretty much the same thing. The concept is that every single thing that you do in your day, you put on a schedule. Not only does it keep you accountable for the day, it's also a great record or journal to look back on to see where you spend the most of your time. Just want to touch on this a little bit because what I really want to focus on is actually teaching you how to time block, but I think it is important to understand how you can use that because it can be motivating to look back at the data and see where you spend the majority of your time and whether that's aligned with your goals. That's one other way that you can measure productivity and success towards your goals. Now, what I really want to focus on is teaching you how to time block. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is an example of a previous week that I've time blocked. I have blocked off the days that I am not working, and then I have also blocked off my morning time and my evening time, but it gives you a good framework to work within. So it gives you kind of like chunks of time that are open in the middle of your day that you can start to see how much time that you have available and how many things you can schedule within that time realistically. I kind of also wanted to show you two different ways that I do this. One is just scheduling it on my calendar directly. So I have this one calendar that's connected to my email address and indicates whether I'm free or busy. If you have a scheduling link hooked up to your calendar, it would come to this calendar to check to see if you're free or busy. So for some people, like me, I'm an entrepreneur, I don't have any team members. It doesn't really matter whether I schedule my blocks of time on this calendar or not, but for others, their team members have access to this calendar and they have, like I said, a scheduling link hooked up to it and they want to be able to offer available times. And so you wouldn't necessarily want to put your time blocks on your calendar that indicates your availability. Or you could always go in and update whether you are free or busy. So you could go in and change this from busy to free, and you could still list the block there so that others could see your structure and kind of like what you've planned out for your day, but it doesn't impact your availability at all. The second option is to set yourself up with a secondary calendar. I call this one my ideal schedule, and you can see it's turned off right now. So the only thing that I can see are the important things that I have scheduled, like meetings with other people. These do indicate my availability. And so these are the things that I want people to see. I cannot book over them because I am meeting with someone else. But when I toggle this ideal schedule on, you can see that I've got blocks of time here scheduled for myself. So this is my preferred method of doing this. I like to be able to see, to like declutter my calendar if needed, to see like truly what my free time is, and then to put in my tasks on a secondary calendar. So if you're working within Google Apps, this is an easy way to just add an additional calendar, create a new calendar, create the name, and you've got yourself another calendar. It'll show up as ideal schedule. You can change the color, and likewise, you could create multiple different calendars and toggle certain things on and off. So an example of applying that would be if you've got internal work versus client work. You want to create different colors for those things, then you might create two different calendars and they'd have different colors by default. So kind of going back to that first week that I showed you, I just wanted to dig in a little bit to the details. So I set my out of office for the morning that I was not working, and then I started by taking the tasks on my to-do list for the day and putting them into different blocks with an estimated time frame that I thought it might take. Remember, these things are flexible. So if at the beginning of your day you put in a few different time blocks and they end up taking more or less time, you can always just drag and drop them, move them around, change the time frame according to when you actually started and stopped things. Before I set up an ideal recurring schedule for myself with different windows of time, I always do it this way. I always schedule some time blocks and then adjust them according to my day. I'm very diligent about tracking my time and making sure that each block really ends where I stopped doing work on that particular project. And that way I can see how much time things actually took me so that when I go to create my ideal schedule, I've got a really good handle on how much time something is going to take. The second week that I tracked my time is actually this week that we're working on right now. I used the ideal schedule calendar so I could toggle it on and off, and you can see that I've got my meetings in one color on my main calendar, and then again, blocks where I'm creating content, scheduling content, doing social media engagement, things like that. This week, I'm really focused on getting ahead for my vacation coming up in a couple of weeks. So I've been just cranking out content. Next, I want to show you a blank week. This is kind of like the bones of what things are already set in stone, and then I can kind of schedule my own working blocks around these things. I've got Monday and Friday blocked off already because, like I said, through the summer, I've been taking Mondays and Fridays off, so that's already a recurring element in my calendar. But what I'm going to do is also block off the mornings. So typically never working before 8 a.m. I'm just going to block off that time. I'm going to move it to out of office. Gives it a little bit of a lighter color for me so I can see the distinction, but it's not very distracting. If you are creating recurring calendar blocks, you can set them to repeat, so it'll show up every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 12 to 8 a.m. if you wanted to. I don't like to work after 4 p.m. If I get distracted or take a extra long break in the middle of the day, I will work after 4 p.m., but typically this is kind of my daily preferred schedule. So that leaves me here with this chunk of time to get in all my work for the week. The first thing that I want to look at is, do I need any prep time for those meetings? And I want to put those in right away. So before my one-on-one sessions, I am going to just block off 30 minutes prior to prep for sessions. And that's how I put in my blocks. I really just type in to the event title exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to put this on my ideal schedule. Here, I'm just going to do about 15 minutes. And again, above that one up top, I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, so now I've got those done, and I can start to think about what I'm going to be doing that week and put in some tasks. I usually take Tuesday mornings to create that week's content. So it takes me 3 hours to create the blog post, email, images, and schedule everything out. That's going to be content for the week of 8-10. I really like to include some kind of freebie or downloadable. That usually takes me a little bit of extra time to develop. So that's what I'm going to put in here. I'm going to leave that last hour for any other additional tasks that I might need to do. For Wednesday, I'm going to leave this morning block open. I'm not quite sure what that looks like for me yet. Probably like admin. But what I really want to do is spend some time here working on client strategy for those one-on-ones that I had the day before. Actually, I'm probably going to put in an hour here for admin. So email. And then I'm also going to put in some more time. Just going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to move this down here. We'll have some more client strategy time here to work on whatever pops up and follow up with the clients after our session. So those are kinds of the blocks of time that I know I'm going to need to take for the next week. But I also want to leave time open because I plan my day every single morning. And so I'll come in on that Tuesday, the 20th. And the very first thing I'll do is just take 5 minutes and put my tasks, my individual, smaller tasks into this list as well. So I will be putting in blocks of time for those items. And the same thing on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. So I do want to leave some time available to get things done that week that are going to pop up. One thing I forgot, and what is usually the very first thing that I put in to my calendar for the week, is lunch, because if I don't put it in, I will forget to eat. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to put it on my regular calendar. I don't want to wait till 2:00 to eat on Tuesdays. I'm going to move that prep to before the discovery call, and then shorten up my window to create and schedule the content, add my lunch in. I'm going to move that free resource down, and I'm going to add in some additional time because I shortened up that first window. I want to make sure I still have those 3 hours because I know it does take me a full 3 hours. So I'll just save that, schedule it, put it on the ideal calendar, and then I'm just going to edit this to create the content. All right, so those windows are open for whatever might come up throughout the week, and I know I've got some breathing room to get some things done, and I'm not super slammed. So that is how I calendar block. This is obviously a very simplified version. I promise that I can make calendar blocking work for everyone if you're thinking that it might not work for you, or you're not sure how to make it work, let me know, because I'd love to have a call with you and go through your struggles, your work styles, and the different things that you're thinking may not make this fit, so that I can suggest some ways that you might be able to make it work for you. I hope this was helpful, and as always, I would love to hear from you. Any feedback or questions or help that you might need, just reach out to me, Jen at wrktgthr.co.